ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। Him, go ahead and unmute yourself. Let's chant from verse number 6.
Okay.
कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य
कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य
य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन्
य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन्
इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा
इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा
मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते।
मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते।
यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा
यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा
नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन
नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन
कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम्
कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम्
असक्तः स विशिष्यते।
असक्तः स विशिष्यते।
नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं
नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं
कर्म ज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः
कर्म ज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः
शरीरयात्रापि च ते
शरीरयात्रापि च ते
न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः।
न प्रसिद्धेद कर्मणः।
यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र
यज्ञात् यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र
लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः
लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः
तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय
तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय
मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर.
मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर.
And today we'll be doing number 10. सह यज्ञाः
सह यज्ञाः
प्रजा सृष्ट्वा
प्रजा सृष्ट्वा
पुरोवाच
उरोवाच
प्रजापतिः
प्रजापतिः
अनेन
अनेन
प्रसविष्यध्वम्
प्रसविष्यध्वम्
येषवोऽस्तु
एषवोऽस्तु
इष्टकामधुक्
इष्टकामधुक्
सह यज्ञाः प्रजा सृष्ट्वा
सह यज्ञाः प्रजा सृष्ट्वा
पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः
उरोवाच प्रजापतिः
अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम्
अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम्
येषवोऽस्त्विष्टकामधुक्
एषवोस्त्विष्टकामधुक्
गुड् येषवोऽस्त्विष्टकामधुक्
एषवोस्त्विष्टकामधुक्.
Yeah, good. So we completed verse number 9 in the last class. Yajnathat karmanon yatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. He makes it clear by introducing a word yajna. Bhagavan Shankaracharya does not write anything about the word yajna. He assumes we all know what yajna is. And all the explanation we gave is Swamiji gives the explanation in class. So I did the same thing so we can understand broadly what does yajna really mean. How every action that we do can become a yajna. So here he says yajnarthat karmanon yatra. If your actions are anything other than yajna, then karma bandhana. Then that action will bind you. Which we understand now, having understood the ragadveshas, how they impel me to do, and then I am now waiting for the results and I'm anxious about the results, and then the results perform me to ask for more. Anything that I like, I want an encore, I want it again. And so Deepavali is there. My father was asking, how come you did not give me sweets? This is the question just 10 minutes ago. Okay, I told him, I gave you halwa, you forgot or what? And oh, halwa you gave me, I see. So that means in the heart he's feeling that there is some loss. And that is so I told him, don't worry, I have kept some more sweets, it is there for you, tomorrow I'll give it to you. He said, okay. So that longing is always there. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's there and we need to watch out for that. And this is how our life is going to be. I keep on wanting what I like and I don't want what I don't like. Therefore, karma bandhanaha, he says. And then anena tadartham karma kaunteya, hey kaunteya. Therefore, do karma for the sake of yajna, looking upon your karma as yajna, or for the sake of yajna, who is Ishvara. Yajno vai Vishnu. We saw that. Bhagavan Shankaracharya quotes Yajno vai Vishnu. So he said that. Therefore, first reason, this is, you can mark that number 9 as the first in a series of shlokas. And in the first shloka, there, number 9, he tells us that one of the reasons you must look upon every action you do as yajna is because otherwise, negative reason he gives, otherwise it will bind you. Okay, if you don't want to be bound, then you look at Ishvara. Bring Ishvara into your life. Puja Swamiji calls it Ishwaraize your life. He introduced the word Ishwaraize about 25 years ago. Ishwar. It was a New Year talk. He gave a New Year talk for about half an hour or 45 minutes. And then he introduced that word, I remember, Ishwaraize. This is Ishwarization. Yajna, looking at every action as Yajna. Okay. Now, verse number 10. And another reason Krishna gives why I should look upon every action as a yajna. Okay, let's see what that other reason is. Sahayajna praja srishtva purovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyadvam yeshavostvishta kamadhuk. Okay, so verb in the first line, uvacha. Uvacha. I think by now you know what uvacha means. Why I can guess? Because we've seen so many Uvachas, Bhagavan Uvacha, Arjuna Uvacha, Dhritarashtra Uvacha, Sanjay Uvacha. So we've seen at least 4 Uvacha, 4 people have spoken. I don't think in the Gita there is any more than that. So therefore Uvacha said. And this is not simple past tense. There are 3 past tenses in Sanskrit. And this is a lit, one type of past tense called lit. It means long ago. It happened long ago. There is a past tense for today's past. What did you do today morning? I read. I joined a Sanskrit class, so I opened the book. I got a book by mail, and I opened the book this morning. Recent past. Then a past before today. Yesterday onwards, going back. There is one past. And then long ago past. Long ago means you were not a witness to that past long ago. That kind of past. It's called lit. And that lit is used here. Uvacha is lit. So long ago Krishna said, long ago Arjuna said, long ago, like that we can keep in mind. Okay, good. Uvacha. Uvacha. Kaha uvacha? Who said? Prajapatihi uvacha. Correct? Prajapatihi. Prajapati. Brahmaji, our favorite of Brahmaji. So this Chaturmukha Brahmaji, that fellow, that man who is the creator, who has been lagatar, is busy. Poor man, poor Brahmaji. I don't want to be Brahmaji anytime because he's too busy. And this kind of work, it's too much, no rest at all. And midnight, babies are born. Any time of the day, babies are born. And so he obviously doesn't have any rest. That Brahmaji, Prajapati, he uvacha, said. And what did he say? Okay, what did we say? Comes in the second line. Okay, second line quotes. Put that in quotes. Okay, before that. And when did he say? When? Pura uvacha. Long ago, Brahmaji said. Okay, and he said, after doing what he said, prajaha srishtva. Prajaha srishtva. Prajaha means people, things. I mean, here it refers to people. It doesn't refer to animals. Because these Vedas are meant only for people, human beings. It's not meant for animals or plants. And they don't need it. Not only they can understand it, but they don't need it also because free will is not there. So the problems that a human being has are not there for the animal, right? There is no depressed cow. There is no depressed deer. There is no depressed lion. I read a shloka, a Subhashitam, very brilliant it was. I will put it up later. It's brilliant. It says something like, I did not get food today. I am lonely. Like this, these thoughts are not there for the lion. May you be like a lion. Like that the Subhashitam says. Okay. And so the lion has no problem. It may be hungry for a few days. It may suffer, but it is never depressed. Okay, so this depression is a human problem. Therefore, in the beginning, pura uvacha prajapatihi, and then now look at this. He's going to talk about yajna again. Sahayajna praja srishtva. It's going to come. And he says, praja srishtva. People he created. But then along with the people, he created something. What did he create? Yajna. Yajna. Not only he created people, but he created yajnas. Because yajnas have to be done by people. This is a Vedic life, Vedic society we are talking about. Vedic society means Vedas is the centerpiece, and so this life of yajna will automatically be there for any Hindu, modern language Hindu, but a Vedic person, Vaidika. And then not everybody can do yajna. Child is born, child is growing up, child is not going to do yajna. It doesn't, it's playful. And then it goes to school, and then all it does is study. That's all its only job. It doesn't do all this yajna business and all, not needed. And in order to do a yajna, as in a ritual, one has to be married. That is the rule number one. You have to be married in order to do a yajna. The brahmachari, when he or she is 7 years old and he gets initiated into Vedas, that person has to do Trikala Sandhyavandanam. Okay, 3 times a day, Sandhyavandanam has to be done. And then there is the Samhita Danam, etc. So there is that ritual the brahmachari does, a bachelor brahmachari does. Not good to translate brahmachari as a bachelor, because brahmanam acharati iti. One who is following the Veda, that is brahmachari. How can you translate that as bachelor? You can see how wrong the word, how wrong it is. I mean, I said it, I felt very awkward, so I'm taking it back now. Okay, brahmachari is brahmachari. That's it. And so this marriage has to happen for yajnas to be done, because Brahmaji has created yajnas along with the people. Sahayajna praja srishtva. Now, very interesting here. The man and the woman get married. The man gets the name Patihi. Woman gets the name Patni in Sanskrit, right? Pati, Patni. Pati, Patni. Pati, Patni or wo. That is long ago when I was when I was in school, some hardly 7th grade or 8th grade. Pati, Patni or wo. And I was wondering, what is this wo and all that? So, Pati, Patni, this is all we are interested in. So, here, look at this. Panini Maharshi provides a sutra. Panini Maharshi has written a science of Sanskrit language. I've told you before. He takes dhatus, 2200 dhatus, and from that 2200 dhatus, what is a dhatu? The fundamental element in the language, not a letter. Letter is the most fundamental element, no doubt. But then dhatu is that which has a meaning. A letter doesn't have meaning. A, I, ka, ka, ga, ga. It doesn't have any meaning. But to have a meaning, it has to become a dhatu. Like the other day, we talked about pu, to purify, pavakaha. We saw all this, right? So, vannihi, vah, to carry. Okay, so that vah is a dhatu. Pu is a dhatu. Bhu, to be, is a dhatu. Okay. Now, he took all these dhatus, and from the dhatus, he developed a science, a programming language, which essentially creates all words in Sanskrit. It's most amazing. And he does that in the form of sutras. Sutra is a short, very cryptic phrase. Okay, like iko yanachi, vriddhiradach, okay, adenguna. These are all examples of what is called a sutra. Those who are studying Panini grammar will understand what I say. Now, the eco energy we can't understand. Nobody in the world can understand eco energy. Indians also can't understand. Even Sanskrit experts cannot understand this unless they study Panini grammar. Okay. Like if I say print F hello world. Okay, some of you are smiling. How many of you understand what I said? Okay, a few people are raising their hands. Okay, print F hello world. Because they've all studied programming language. Long ago, I studied a language called C. And then this Kernighan and Ritchie, in that book, I saw this printf hello world. It's a programming sentence that only programmers will know. Nobody else will know. Like that, if I say Iko Enechi, then only those people who studied Panini's grammar will know. Okay. Now, he writes a sutra which defines what a pati and patni are. He says, Yajna Samyoge, when two people come together for the purpose of doing yajna, that one person is called pati, the other person will be called patni. And he says, the other person also is pati, really speaking. Pati, that's all. Both are equals, so they must be pati. Then he says, Patyurno yajna samyoge. Hey, by the way, the pati, what will happen is Pati. And then between the T and I, na comes. And then you put the na, and then it becomes pat. And then the E is there, I, and make it long. E, because feminine. So patni. So he gives a derivation. He gives a derivation for the word patni. And that means what? Nobody can be called a patni unless that person comes in marriage for the purpose of doing yajna. That means what? Long ago, I heard this. You could go to Las Vegas and then there is something called a drive-through marriage. How many of you have heard of drive-through marriages? Okay, I want to see. Okay, there are a few people, 5 or 6 people raising hands. Many people. Okay, so it's called drive-through. Means like McDonald's, you drive through and pick up your French fries. Like this, you just drive through and then you can pick up your marriage certificate. So maybe they'll ask you to place the hand on the Bible or something. I don't know what they do. So Yamalataji is telling something. Nothing. Okay. So this is called drive-through marriage. Now they can be husband and wife, all right, but they are not pati and patni. Correct? That word patni, look at that. How a word contains the entire Vedic culture in that word. Okay. So pati, patni. And then what? After marriage, what? Both don't do exactly the same rituals, right? Oftentimes the man does all the majority of the rituals, but the wife has to give, patni has to give permission. Patni has to give permission. Two things have to happen. Patni has to give permission, but then, suppose she is there in Seattle, this fellow is in Chennai, okay, and they want to do a ritual. Now what? She gives permission on the phone. Yeah, I give you permission. Okay. Is that okay or not? No, that's not okay. She has to be physically present in the same house. She has to be physically present in the same room and then touch him and then give permission. Only then it will work. So telephone call, WhatsApp video may not work. These days, I don't know what they do, but I'm just telling what the tradition is. So both of these are needed. Wife's permission is needed, wife's presence is needed, and there is division of labor, etc. that happens. And so because to conduct a ritual is not easy, you've got to make all these preparations, and there is so many procedures to be done and special things to be acquired for doing the yajna, and so on and so forth. And so definitely a division of labor is needed in this kind of in a ritual like this. So that is how there is sharing of responsibility. And so look at this. Why do two people get married? If somebody asks, what can we say? Suppose your children ask you, why do people get married, mommy? They say, what will you say? Well, everybody grows up and gets married. That's all we can say. What else do we know? And the time comes to get married, and then people marry in different ages, whenever they are, 20s, whatever it is. Okay. But then here, the marriage is done for a purpose. Yajna samyoge, for the purpose of doing yajna. Why should I do yajna? Well, we saw that before. We know yajna means looking at Ishvara. Ishvara's presence everywhere is there. The whole world is just vibrating, throbbing Ishvara. And in order to recognize that, there is no choice for me but to do that yajna. And through the yajna, I can discover the possibility of seeing Ishvara everywhere. Therefore, Yajna Samyoge, two people come together. Okay. And so that Vedic life, married Vedic life, is like that. It used to be like that. From the time even before conception onwards, there is rituals. Then conception, then there is Simantonayanam. Simantonayanam is there, first child. We say Simandam in Tamil. And Sanskrit, Simantonayanam. Okay, so 6th, 7th, 8th, last stages of pregnancy, Simantonayanam is there. And then child is born, Jateshti, and then the child is given a name, Namakaranam, and then the child, the hair is removed for the child, Chudakaranam, and then the child is initiated into the Vedas after a few years, Vedarambham, like this, one after the other. Non-stop it is, constantly, and this is going on, and of course, parents are there, grandparents are there, and there is constantly rituals going on. Shraddham is going on, there is Amavasya, there is Tarpanam going on. Like this, in the Vedic family, this is how it is done. So, and therefore, that Vedic lifestyle we have to appreciate here. We can appreciate once we understand the meaning of the word yajna. And even though here we are talking about yajna as a physical ritual, and we have seen that we are looking at yajna as even broader than that. Any action that we do can be looked upon as a yajna, but that I cannot, it may be difficult for me to see that unless I actually do a yajna. Correct? Because Indraya Swaha idam na mama, and I am offering it to you. So I'm connecting with the cosmos. I'm connecting with the cosmos through the yajna. So that it comes into the child, imbibes that culture. And so at best we can say, no, I don't know. This doesn't make sense to me. This doesn't make sense to me is all right. I can accept that. This is meaningless. That I won't accept, because how do you know it is meaningless? Tell me, what did you study about this? Did you ask anybody what this ritual is all about? Did you know how many Sanskrit words do you know? Please tell me. You tell me what you know. Now then I'll tell you if it is meaningless or not. So in order to say something is meaningless, you have to study a lot, you have to research a lot before you come to the conclusion it's meaningless. So it has a lot of meaning, all these yajnas and so forth. And so you look at traditional people, and Veda Patashalas you go, the best place to go. And they are busy, morning to evening they are busy. They are doing Parayanam, they are doing Yaga, Homas, and they are doing, they are teaching Upanishads, they are teaching Karma Kanda, Vedas. They are of course playing, they have a lot of time to play also. They do all that. Then till the night there is something other than that. Constant. So a Vedic lifestyle is, Swamiji would say, it's not a joke. It requires complete commitment to the Vedas. And of course, for a person who is a Vedika, who is a Hindu, and for that person also once initiated to the Vedas, then there are some Nitya Karma is there. There are daily Sandhya Vandanam, etc. we have to do. And Bhojanam, etc. Bhojanam also, there are mantras that we have to chant. And of course, Swadhyaya is always there. So Veda Parayanam has to be done. Upanishads must be chanted. And so all these duties are there for every person, especially for the person who is married. Okay. So then, therefore, Sahayajna Prajasrishtva. Prajasrishtva. He created human beings. But what is the use? Human beings are confused. So now what do? Well, okay, I'll create yajnas for you. You make sure you follow whatever is being said, and follow the dharma. Follow dharma, and then let that lead you towards moksha, and through antakarana shuddhi, etc. That we have studied in Gita so far. Okay. So now he says, Ishtakamadhuk. Okay. Yesha vostu Ishtakamadhuk. Look at that shloka. So, second line. Yeshaha Vaha astu ishtakamadhuk. That is the way to split that second line. Okay, it's a bit awkward. Huh? So yeshaha, this. Vaha. Vaha. So how many Sanskrit students are here in our class? Vaha. Any guesses? Mohini. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yushmat Shabdaha.
Okay, Yushmad, and then?
It will be either the Dvitiya Vibhakti or Chaturthi or Shashti Vibhakti. Here
Vachanam? Vachanam?
Bahuvachanam.
Bahuvachanam. Good. So Yushmat Shabdaha, Dvitiya Vibhakti, Chaturthi Vibhakti, or Shashti Vibhakti, Bahuvachanam. So it's an alternate form of the word you. So you, and then for you, and then yours. Okay. So here it means yours. Shashti Vibhakti, Bahuvachanam. Okay. So for all of you. For all of you. That is the way to look at it. Yours, really speaking, Shashti, it also means for all of you. Okay. Yeshaha, this is for all of you. Astu, let this be for all of you. Let this be what? First of all, let this mean, what is that? This, well, this yajna that Brahmaji gave you, let this be Ishtakamadhuk. Ishtakamadhuk. Let this be a wish fulfilling cow. That is the literal translation of Ishtakamadhuk. So because we have heard of Kamadhenu and so forth, right? So we have all these stories where especially this story of the king who decided to go out into the forest and to perhaps hunt or to just take a break, from this hectic life of, being in the kingdom. And so he took off, and then they were all hungry, and it became a bit late, and so they were looking around, and they saw a rishi in a hut. And then he comes and then he asked the rishi, we are all hungry, what should we do? King asking a rishi, it seems a bit odd. The rishi can ask the king and say, wait a minute, I'm a bit hungry, give me something. Okay, that's a fair that's a fair transaction. But here it's the other way around. We're all hungry. The rishi is Vashishta. Vashishta says, okay, no problem, just sit down. And then there are thousands of people in horses and this and that. And then suddenly food comes. Within 5 minutes, everybody is served food. And the king is shocked and surprised. And what is this? And so after all the meal is over, he comes to Vashishta and he says, Maharshe, what is this? How could you feed so many people in 5 minutes? And now I have a cow. She will give whatever I want. Then he said, no, I want that cow. Why do you need the cow? You are only a single person. And I am the one who is taking care of the entire kingdom. So I need that cow. And then Vashishta says, you are welcome to take the cow, not a problem. But she won't give you anything. Why she won't give me anything? You have to be a Brahmarshi for you to get anything out of this cow. This cow will only give to a Brahmarshi. And so this fellow became angry, and then the story goes on like that. And so he becomes angry and things like that. So that Brahmarshi, basically one who sees Brahma, that is a Brahmarshi. Now that we know a little Sanskrit and we know Bhagavad Gita a little bit, so we can appreciate these things. We should not imagine big things. Brahmarshi means somebody with a beard and then floating in the air. All this we should not imagine. That's all comic. Amarchitra Katha. You let go of Amarchitra Katha, okay? And Brahmarshi means Rishi, Rishati, Janati. One who knows. One who knows what? Brahma. Brahma Janati iti Brahmarshi. Over. That person knows Brahma. Because that's worthwhile knowing. And one who knows Brahma does not need anything. So here the metaphor of Kamadhenu, this person doesn't need anything, and the cow gives everything for the person who doesn't need anything. This is the irony of life also, right? And people who have everything seem to get everything. People who don't have. The other day I went to the bank to ask, hey, there is a lady who is poor and she needs to marry her daughter and she needs a loan. This man responds back, no, sir, we can't give a loan. Why? No, only, does she run a business? No, if she runs a business, why would I be here? No, if she has to run a business, then only we'll give a loan. What about any government schemes? Narendra Modi, these schemes are all must be there for poor people. No, sir, for that you go to the VOO office or something, he said. Where is the VOO office? I don't know, sir. So, this is how the system is like that, where the most needy people are denied what they need. And so here also, look at that. Brahma Rishi, he doesn't need anything, but he gets everything. Of course, Rishi doesn't want anything. So that's a different thing altogether. And so this king, I think many of you know the name of this king. The king is called Vishwamitra. Correct? Vishwamitra. So and so Vishwamitra is angry and he wants the cow. There is some story, and then he goes to steal the cow and all that. There is something like that. And he steals the cow, and then nothing happens and all that. Then he comes back to Vishishta and says, I also want to become a Brahmarshi like you. He said, you're welcome. And then, so he does a lot of tapas, Vishwamitra. And then nothing happens. And he tries his best and not a Brahmarshi. Why? Because he still has that anger in him. Okay, then he works harder to get rid of the anger. Then what? Then he still doesn't become a Brahmarshi. He's wondering, what happened? What is this? I've been doing tapas and nothing happened. Do you want to become a Brahmarshi? Yes. That is what stops you from becoming a Brahmarshi. Okay. This you are desperate to become something, then you are not something. You give up the desperation. Give up that intense desire to become something because somebody else is something. No, just be yourself. Then you will be a Brahmarshi. Then only Vishwamitra became a Brahmarshi. That is a story we've heard. And so Shankara introduced this shloka, as I said before, by saying there is another reason for that Krishna is giving for us to view our actions as yajna. And the other reason is that let the yajna be the wish fulfilling cow. And what kind of wishes do we have? Well, we've studied Purusharthas. Our wishes all fall in 4 categories: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Any of our desires is going to fall into one of these 4 categories. And so Chaturvida Purusharthaha. And then, of course, let those Purusharthas all converge into one Purushartha called Moksha. And so let your yajna act like a fulfilling cow and let it lead you towards moksha. That is the way to look at this shloka. And suppose somebody says, Jaykumarji, this is all great to hear, but you know what? My parents, my ancestors left India long ago, generations ago, 5 generations ago, and we are now in America, and we don't do any yajnas, tarpanam, this, that, nothing. All words you've said is all new to me, although I appreciate what you're saying, and I'm seeing the connection now, why it is so important, but I don't know anything. You're saying Sandhya Vandanam. What is Sandhya Vandanam? I don't know. You're talking about Pariseshanam. You're saying Om Pranaya Swaha, Abhanaya Swaha, Vyanaya Swaha, ityadi. I don't know what all this is about. What should I do? Then, yes, we have a way out. It's called Pancha Mahayajna. Of course, one can get initiated into Vedas anytime, any day, not a problem. So we have ways to do that. But then there is something called Pancha Mahayajna. Make a note of that. And it's very important for us to know what Pancha Mahayajna is. Okay. The 5 great yajnas. What are the 5 great yajnas? First, Veda. Brahma Yajna. Brahma Yajna. Study of the Vedas. You can study the Vedas. You can study the Upanishads. You can study the Bhagavad Gita. Anytime you can study. In fact, in this day and age, it's easier to study sitting where you are. Can you do that? Yes. That is called Brahma Yajna. Swadhyaya pravachanabhyanna pramaditavyam. Taittiriya Upanishad. Follow that here. Brahma Yajna. Correct? So, reverence to Vedas, study of the Vedas, teaching of the Vedas. This is called Brahma Yajna. Any day you can do that. Start from ABCs and then you can pick up. Next what? Then Devas. Deva Yajna. Devas. So you understand this cosmic ecology. Last class we talked about the ecology. And so there are Devatas. Everything is a Devata. And in Tattvabodha, when we studied, we saw, what did he say? When we studied this Jnanendriyaha, what are Jnanendriyaha? These sense organs, correct? So, and then he talked about what are the Devatas of these Jnanendriyas. And Shrotrasya Dig Devata, Tvacho Vayuhu, Chakshusha Suryaha, correct? And then Rasanayaha Varunaha. Varuna is the Devata of the sense of taste. And then Ghanasya Ashwino. Ashwini Devata. They are the Devata of this sense of smell. So for us, it's all Devata. This ology. When you say ophthalmology, we talk about Aditya Devata. Aditya Devata for us. Because that whole science is out there. And I appreciate that collective. It's called collective. I like the word collective. It is also called archetype. Okay, you may want to look up these words. Archetype. ARCHETYPE. Archetype means, when they say ophthalmology, what does it mean? It means the science of eyesight. And the science of my eyesight is not different from science of your eyesight, is not different from that. Everything is same. That is why you are welcome to travel various countries, and if you need to see an eye doctor, you can see an eye doctor in that country, and that person has studied the same thing as the other person in your country. Okay, so that is because collective. That is because that appreciation of that collective archetype is called Devata. We call it Devata. For us, it's live. It's Ishvara. It's not separate from Ishvara. That law, all the laws that govern ophthalmology, that is the Surya Devata, Aditya Devata. Okay. So that is how we look at it. And so, therefore, that second Mahayajna is called Deva Yajna. My appreciation of Ishvara in all the various things that I know of. Okay. Next, Pitru Yajna. Family. Family is an important unit. And so, Pitru Yajna, do something for your ancestors. I'm here today because of my ancestors, my parents. My parents are there because of their parents and their parents, and so on and so forth. And so, think of your ancestors. Invoke your ancestors periodically and offer them something. That is called Pitru Yajna. Okay. Then what? No, that can be a little difficult. It'll take some time. Okay, good. Let it take some time. Then there is one more thing for you. It's the next fourth one called Manushya Yajna. Manushya Yajna. There are people living around you or not? Yes. Are they all as blessed as you are? Probably not. Good. So then you have a duty to do, and that is go help the people who need help. That is called Manushya Yajna. Okay. All right. Got that. Now, what is the last one? It's called Bhuta Yajna. Bhuta Yajna. Bhuta Yajna. So the environment, water, air, and plants, animals, they all need help. What about plants? Go support people who grow trees. Support people who help people and help animals and help restore the ecology of the world. Are there people like that? Yes, there are people like that. Yeah, go ahead and support them. That is called Bhuta Yajna. Keep a bucket of water outside your home so some birds can come and drink the water. That is Bhuta Yajna. We do this every Vedic house in the morning. They will do a rangoli, kolam, rangoli, and what has happened over time? They have it used to be rice flour. Rice flour is what we use kolam போடுறதுக்கு. Okay, but then it has become ground stones, and it's amazing how we have done this. And that kolam is supposed to be, that rangoli is supposed to be a bhuta yajna. It is supposed to be for the ants and other creatures that are moving around on the floor. That was the purpose. And this stone powder, which animal can eat stone powder? Not possible. So you walk around and everybody buys a packet, and that packet is stone powder. And I think quarry, and then you keep breaking all this granite, and so the byproduct of that. So few months ago, about last year, I decided I didn't look into this, and then I looked into it, and they said, yeah, this is stone powder. And so I decided I'm going to look for this rice flour. But rice flour means you can't go to the grocery store and buy rice flour and put. That rice flour will not work because that is too fine. You know, the rice flour that you use in your kitchen, you can't use that. It has to be a little coarsely ground. And that I had to make some phone calls. And then they told me, yeah, there are a few stores here that make that particular type of rice flour that is meant for this rangoli. I went and purchased that. And believe it or not, the day we started doing it, the next day onwards, for the first time, we saw ants. Ants started coming. I was so happy. And they don't come inside the house. They just be there and then they go away. They're eating all day. They're consuming that rice and then they go away. I felt so good when I saw that, and how we could deprive these ants of the food that is legitimate. They need it. Why they need it? Why can't they fend for themselves? Well, I read an article that says if you eliminate ants from earth, the civilization will come to an end in 50 years. One of you can do some research and tell me whether I'm right or wrong. I read this. Somebody told me this, and I've not actually read it, but somebody told me this. And so they have a role to play. And look at that. I saw these ants burrowing this tulsi, the mud on which the tulsi is standing, and it's all aerated. It's all the mud is all loosened up, and you pour water, and it's all aerated. I think they do these kinds of functions, and which no human hand can do. And so there is a role they play, the ants play. So look at that yajna. This is the way we look at stuff. This is the way we look at entire life as symbiotic. He's going to say next. Symbiosis is going to come next. Okay, next shloka. So it's a brilliant set of verses. Okay, so having said all that, so what did I just finish? This Pancha Mahayajna. For the person who has the question that, hey, I am uprooted from my Vedas, help me. Then I say, no, you are not really uprooted. You can follow the Pancha Mahayajna, do whatever you can. Help animals, help plants, help the ecology, water conservation, do whatever you can and help the society. And of course, help people. There's always people needing help. Do that Manushya Yajna. That is your Yajna. Don't worry about, I'm not able to do this ritual or that ritual. No. So Pancha Mahayajna. Okay, that we need to remember. Okay. So with that said, there is one more word that I did not explain to you. Anena prasavishyadhvam. With that yajna, may you multiply, may you procreate, may you lead a life. That is the meaning. Prasava, right? Prasava. I don't know in Hindi mein hai kya prasava? So prasava is not in
I don't
Tamil.
think so.
Prasava. Tamil prasava means to give birth. Sanskrit also give birth. Su, su means to give birth, and so prasavaha. So here anena prasavishyadvam. May you multiply with the yajna that I've given you, like that. Prajapatihi said Pura long ago. So let's translate this shloka. In the beginning, Pura, comma, okay, in the beginning, Pura, the creator, in quotes, the creator, Prajapatihi, comma, having created human beings, Prajaha Srishtva, having created human beings, along with Yajna, Sahayajnaha, along with Yajna, comma, said, begin quotes, inverted commas, by this, within brackets, Yajna, by this Yajna, Anena, by this Yajna, shall you multiply, Prasavishyadvam, shall you multiply, full stop. May this yajna, may this, within brackets, yajna, may this yajna means yeshaha astu, yeshaha astu, may this yajna be a wish fulfilling cow, be a wish fulfilling cow. Ishtakama dhuk, be a wish fulfilling cow for you, vaha, for you, vaha, full stop, close inverted commas. So let me read the translation again. In the beginning, comma, the creator, comma, having created human beings along with yajna, comma, said, begin inverted commas, begin quotation, by this yajna shall you multiply, full stop. May this yajna be a wish fulfilling cow for you, full stop, close inverted commas. Okay, so let's chant the next shloka before we finish. We have a minute or so. Some of you turned off your videos. Santosh Gupta, are you there? Sundari Venkatraman. Okay, Santosh ji is there. Good. Go ahead. Unmute yourself. Yeah. Devan.
देवान्
भावयतानेन
भाव्यतानेन
ते देवाः
ते देवाः
भावयन्तु वः
भावयन्तु वा
परस्परं
परस्परं
भावयन्तः
भावयन्तः
श्रेयः
श्रेयः
परं
परम्
अवाप्स्यथ
अवाप्स्यथ
अवाप्स्यथ.
अवाप्स्यथ
Yeah, अवाप्स्यथ. So bit Hindi. This is not Hindi, na. This is Sanskrit. So little अवाप्स्यथ. हिंदी में अवाप्स्यथ, लेकिन संस्कृत में अवाप्स्यथ. Okay.
अवाप्स्यथ
अवाप्स्यथ. Good. So we will conclude with that. ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्याय्येन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ